Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're setting our sights on a truly extraordinary place, often called the island continent. You know, the one we're heading down under to Australia. Our mission today is to take the sources you've shared with us and really extract those vital nuggets of knowledge, giving you a crystal clear shortcut to being well informed about this absolutely fascinating part of the world. And from our initial look at the material, there's immediate intrigue. You know, we see mentions of the Kangaroo's cricket team and even a Kookaburra cricket ball. So it immediately begs the question, why is it so?
Why is the wildlife of Australia so uniquely its own?
That's a fantastic starting point. And what's truly illuminating, I think, is that by connecting the dots, between Australia's distinct geography, its surprisingly rich history, and its current characteristics, we can actually uncover some truly surprising answers to those very questions. It's less about memorizing facts and more about understanding the interconnected story of a continent. Okay, let's unpack this. First, at its core, Australia is the smallest continent in the world. And it's often referred to as the island continent or continent country.
Right.
Because it's entirely occupied by one nation. It's pretty unique in that sense, isn't it?
Absolutely. And to truly grasp its scale, imagine this. Australia is actually the sixth largest country globally, nearly twice the size of India.
Wow.
What's even more interesting about its unique location is that it lies entirely in the southern hemisphere. So while many of you might be bundling up for Christmas in December, they're typically celebrating it on the beach in the glorious summer sunshine.
A summer Christmas, hard to picture sometimes. Now, it's often referred to as the youngest continent, at least in terms of European discovery. So what's the story behind that relatively recent European presence?
Well, it really kicked off in 1770 when Captain James Cook discovered the eastern coast. He named it New South Wales.
Okay.
Initially, the British saw this distant land as, well, an ideal place to send life-sentenced convicts, sort of an open-air prison.
Right, the penal colonies.
Exactly. But the real game changer for European settlement was the gold rush of the 1850s. That's when hordes of people, hoping to strike it rich, poured into the continent. This significantly increased the white population and, unfortunately, pushed the original inhabitants, the Aborigines and Torres Strait Islanders, further west, largely into the desert regions.
And these original inhabitants, tell us a bit more about them.
Well, they lived a traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle, deeply connected to the land. They didn't practice agriculture as we know it. Historically, early European settlers often used terms like black people or black fellas, which reflected the, colonial perspectives of the time. While they were initially relocated to designated reserves, significant strides have been made since the 1980s. There's been increasing acceptance and integration into the mainstream.
And the name Australia itself?
It's derived from the Latin word australis, simply meaning southern. Makes sense given its location.
Yeah.
You might also hear it colloquially called Oz.
Oh yeah, Oz.
A nickname that's been around since the early 20th century.
It officially became a truly independent nation on March 3, 1986. And today, it's proudly known as a land of immigrants, welcoming people from all over the world who contribute to its vibrant growth.
Absolutely. And being perched perfectly in the Eastern Hemisphere means Sydney gets to be the first major city to celebrate New Year's Eve. Those world-famous fireworks over Sydney Harbor, they draw people globally.
Definitely a bucket list item for many. Now, let's revisit that initial hook. The unique wildlife. Here's where it gets really interesting and, quite frankly, kind of mind-boggling. What makes these creatures so utterly unique to Australia, found nowhere else on Earth?
It really boils down to deep time and extreme isolation. Australia's long geographical separation from other landmasses meant it basically became a living laboratory for evolution.
A laboratory. I like that.
Yeah. Millions of years cut off meant species here evolved along entirely unique paths, creating creatures found nowhere else on Earth. It's a true testament to natural selection and isolation.
Okay, so give us some examples. Kangaroos, obviously.
Exactly. Kangaroos. These fascinating mammals found only in Australia. They're a perfect example of marsupials, meaning they have that distinctive pouch in their belly for carrying their young.
Right, the pouch.
And that unique feature is why the Australian cricket team is affectionately called the Kangaroos.
Ah, the connection.
And then there's the Kookaburra.
The laughing bird.
That's the one. Also found only in Australia, renowned for its distinctive, almost human-like laughing call. That sound was so iconic, it inspired the name of the Kookaburra cricket ball.
No way. Okay, that explains the cricket ball then.
The list of exclusive animals is truly remarkable. You've got dingo dogs.
Wild dogs, right?
Yes, wild carnivorous canids. Then the majestic emu birds, the cuddly-looking koalas.
They're not actually bears, though.
No, not bears at all, also marsupials. And the truly bizarre duck-billed platypus. All incredible examples of Australia's unique evolutionary journey.
Understanding that unique evolution really helps us appreciate how different Australia truly is. And that distinctiveness carries over to its political and geographic layout too, I imagine, which is what we should probably explore next. How does its vastness translate into how it's mapped and divided?
Well, Australia is truly vast. It stretches across significant latitudes and longitudes, which means it uniquely spans both tropical heat in the north and more temperate climates in the south. This creates incredible biodiversity.
And that split, is there a line?
There is. It's largely because the Tropic of Capricorn, that's 23.5 degrees south latitude, passes almost directly through the center of the continent. It essentially splits it into those distinct climate zones: tropical north, temperate south.
Okay. And Australia, along with New Zealand and other neighboring islands, is collectively known as Australasia or Oceania, right?
That's the broader regional term, yes. In terms of its immediate neighbors, the Timor Sea separates it from East Timor to the northwest. The Arafura Sea separates it from Indonesia, and the Torres Strait from Papua New Guinea to the north.
And to the east.
The Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, and New Caledonia Islands lie to its northeast and east. And in the southeast, the Tasman Sea lies between Australia and New Zealand.
Politically, how is it structured?
Australia is divided into 6 self-governing states and 2 centrally administered territories.
And the capital, Canberra, it's on the east coast.
Yes, nestled inland on the east coast. Other major city capitals include Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, and Hobart down in Tasmania.
Okay.
And a fascinating detail, if you ever look closely at a political map,
Yeah.
Australia's state boundaries are often strikingly straight lines, much like parts of Africa.
Huh. Why is that?
It's because, unlike many older nations whose borders follow natural features like rivers or mountains, Australia's internal divisions were often drawn on maps according to lines of latitude and longitude, essentially creating a kind of grid-like division across the continent.
Interesting, just drawn on a map. Okay, shifting our focus to the very lay of the land now. Australia's physical geography. Broadly, it's described as a flat lowland.
Generally, yes. The average elevation is only about 300 meters above sea level, which is quite low for a continent.
And the coastline is massive, 34,218 kilometers, with just 2 main indentations: the Gulf of Carpentaria in the north and the Great Australian Bight in the south.
That's right. Physically, Australia can be broadly divided into 3 major regions. First, we have the Western Plateau.
Okay.
This vast area covers, believe it or not, 2/3 of the continent. It's characterized by expansive rocky and sandy deserts. Names you might know, like the Great Sandy and the Great Victorian Desert.
Very dry then.
Very dry. But the rocks here are incredibly ancient. And that's significant because they contain rich mineral deposits like iron and gold.
Ah, the mining connection.
Exactly. There are a few significant mountain ranges rising from this plateau, like the Darling Range and the Hamersley Range. They're important for resources and unique ecosystems.
And right on this plateau, there's that incredible feature, Uluru, or Ayers Rock. What's remarkable here is its status as the largest monolith rock, a single enormous piece of stone.
It's huge.
It's worshipped by the local indigenous people, who call it Chilari. And its sheer size is astounding. Apparently, you'd have to walk at least 10 kilometers just to go around it once.
It's immense. And in the southern part of this plateau, you'll also find large sheep stations and agricultural farms, showing how life adapts even in these challenging environments.
Right. So that's the West. What's next?
Next, we move to the central lowlands. These are the low-lying areas nestled between the Western Plateau and the Eastern Highlands. They stretch all the way from the Gulf of Carpentaria in the north down to Encounter Bay on the southern shores.
Okay, the middle bit.
The middle bit. And it can be further divided into 3 crucial subregions. First, the Great Artesian Basin, mainly in the northern part. Now, this isn't just a geological curiosity, it's a lifeline. It's the world's largest artesian basin.
Artesian? Like a well.
Exactly. Think of it as a giant underground water battery. Water gets trapped under natural pressure with impermeable rock layers, called an aquifer, sandwiched between impermeable layers. So if you drill into it, the water flows out with incredible force, like a huge natural spray. It's absolutely crucial for sustaining life and industry out there. It meets about 20% of the country's water needs for drinking, irrigation, and industry.
Wow, vital underground water.
Then there's the Lake Eyre Basin in the central part of the lowlands. This is a vast area of inland drainage.
Inland drainage, so the water doesn't reach the sea.
Correct. Lake Eyre itself is a shallow saltwater lake that actually remains dry most of the time. Usually you just see a shimmering white salt pan on its surface. It's also the lowest point in Australia.
A giant salt flat most of the time.
Pretty much. Finally, in the lowlands, we have the Murray-Darling Basin.
Ah, I've heard of that. The food bowl.
Arguably the most fertile part of Australia, yes. It's formed by the Murray and Darling rivers. They originate up in the eastern Highlands and ultimately drain south into the Great Australian Bight. The Darling is actually the longest river in Australia, with the Murray River as its key tributary.
Okay, fertile rivers. That brings us neatly to the third major physical division, the Eastern Highlands, famously known as the Great Dividing Range.
That's it. It's a long, curved mountain range running almost perfectly parallel to the east coast, all the way from the Cape York Peninsula in the far north down to the Bass Strait in the south.
And it's dividing because
its function is quite critical. It acts as a natural barrier. It effectively divides the most habitable east coast of Australia from the vast, often arid interior of the continent.
I see, so it shapes where people live.
Profoundly.
Oh.
The average altitude of this range is about 900 meters above sea level. It includes important ranges like the Australian Alps and the Blue Mountains near Sydney. And many vital rivers, including the Murray and the Darling we just mentioned, originate from these mountains. They're also harnessed for hydroelectricity.
And the highest peak in Australia is here too, right?
Yes, Mount Kosciuszko. It's nestled right in these eastern highlands at 2,228 meters.
Now, shifting our gaze just off the northeast coast out in the Pacific Ocean, here's where it gets really interesting again and spectacularly beautiful. The Great Barrier Reef.
Ah, yes, a natural wonder.
It's a truly unique physical feature of Australia, an immense underwater ridge, crafted by countless tiny sea creatures called coral polyps.
Billions of them over millennia.
It's not just a massive tourist attraction, it's a living ecosystem of unparalleled biodiversity.
Absolutely vital, though its sheer scale also poses significant challenges to navigation by sea, a hazard for ships.
Right. Beautiful but dangerous. Okay, so from the land itself, let's now consider the people who inhabit it, how they've adapted to and shaped this unique continent. Where does most of Australia's population choose to live, and why?
Well, as that Great Dividing Range suggests, the population is largely concentrated along the eastern and southeastern coasts.
Makes sense.
This region receives good rainfall, thanks to the mountains, and its coastal location provides a moderate, pleasant climate. It stands in stark contrast to much of the western part of Australia, which is dominated by deserts. And it's simply not suitable for large-scale living.
So resources are concentrated too.
Exactly. While Australia is huge, it isn't particularly blessed with abundant water resources overall, and its soil cover is also limited in many areas. This makes the Murray-Darling River basins and those southeast coastal plains truly vital. They are the most fertile regions.
And the rainfall is mainly on the east coast.
Yes, the eastern coastal areas benefit from heavy rainfall because the moisture-laden winds from the Pacific Ocean strike against the Great Dividing Range and shed all their moisture there on the coastal side.
Let's talk trees for a second. Eucalyptus seems synonymous with Australia.
Oh, absolutely. Eucalyptus trees are incredibly abundant across Australia. They come in an amazing variety of species with those distinctive gray-green leaves.
And they're useful for, well, lots of things.
Hugely versatile. They're extensively used for everything from making furniture and paper to plywood and construction, and eucalyptus oil is even used in traditional medicines and aromatherapy.
Right. And shifting gears a bit, Australians are also world-renowned for their excellence in sports.
Definitely punching above their weight in many sports.
Cricket, tennis, hockey, swimming, athletics. The list goes on. If you've watched their teams, you'll have noticed they often wear green and gold jerseys.
The national colors.
Those are the national colors of Australia. Any reason for those specific colors?
Well, the gold color in particular was chosen partly due to the widespread presence of yellow wattle flowers. And historically, perhaps also nodding to the gold mines that drew so many Europeans to the country.
Ah, the wattle. And that's the national flower.
Yes, the national flower of Australia is the golden wattle, known for its vibrant yellow blossoms.
Lovely.
Economically, sheep rearing is one of Australia's core commercial activities. It drives a massive wool and meat industry that's significant globally. They say Australia rides on the sheep's back.
Right. And minerals.
And as we touched on with the Western Plateau, Australia is incredibly rich in mineral wealth, boasting vast deposits of gold, uranium, iron, ore, really significant resources.
And just a quick mental tour of some of Australia's major cities before we wrap up.
Sure.
Sydney, as we mentioned, is the largest, iconic for its Opera House and Harbour Bridge, instantly recognizable.
Global city.
Melbourne is often seen as Australia's cultural heart, vibrant art scene, world-class sporting events. And it hosted the Federation celebrations back in 2000.
Right, a very cosmopolitan city.
Canberra is the capital city, home to the National Museum, National Gallery, and Parliament House, purpose-built capital.
Yes, planned city.
And both Perth, over in the west, and Adelaide in the south are well known for their fantastic cricket grounds and perhaps a more relaxed city vibe.
That's a fair description. Beautiful cities in their own right.
Okay, so bringing this all together, what does this deep dive into Australia mean for you, our listener? We've explored how its profound geographical isolation fostered the development of its truly unique wildlife. That's key.
Absolutely.
We've seen how despite its vastness, its population is concentrated along those livable coasts. We've marveled at engineering wonders like the Great Artesian Basin, sustaining life in arid regions, alongside natural wonders like the magnificent Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah, and if we connect all these threads to the bigger picture, Australia truly is a continent of fascinating contradictions. You have this relatively young nation, in terms of its modern form, built on incredibly ancient land, a place where incredible natural wonders coexist with a modern, thriving society. And it's constantly adapting to its unique and sometimes harsh environment. It's a land where history, geography, and evolution have converged in a way unlike anywhere else.
It really is. So, here's a final thought for you to mull over. Considering its ancient geological history and all those unique adaptations we've discussed, what unknown aspects of Australia's past might still be waiting to be uncovered beneath those vast plains or hidden in its remote corners? Or perhaps, what future adaptations might its distinct ecosystems reveal to us in the face of ongoing global change? It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?